A.K.I is a freely flowing character who doesn't really fall into any single category or archetype. Her unconventional tools require the player to think outside the box and use their imaginations to come up with creative solutions to common problems. Defensively, there isn't too much to write home about, but her offense is where the snake-style fighter surely shines. She's able to slide around the stage in and out of her opponent's range while waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When she gets going, her strings can be some of the scariest to block and contest if you don't know for certain what you're getting into. Use her specials to keep the opponent guessing at range while implementing her strong drive rush and normals to make close range a nightmare. Once the opponent thinks they've got a handle on you, switch things up and bait them into giving you even more damage using her poison mechanic. It's all about taking away the opponent's options before they can take away yours, and turning the tide of battle with smart positional awareness. Her biggest weakness is dealing with throw loops, as she doesn't have a meterless reversal and her OD reversal loses to throws. Characters with strong positional tools like runs and dive kicks also give her trouble due to how committal most of her tools are. Understand that this doesn't make her completely weak though, as she's able to hang with the best of them thanks to her anti-fireball tools and strong neutral control.
Time for some experimentation. I wouldn't move if I were you.
A.K.I's neutral is predominantly characterized by her fireball combined with a fantastic drive rush. She's able to set up some of her best scenarios using these tools in tandem to drive her opponent into a corner, even if they're mid-screen. Use this combination to force a parry mix-up out of an opponent who's committed to staying on the ground, or capitalize on huge damage from someone who jumps at an ill-advised angle. Either way, A.K.I's almost always the one who comes out on top. Against the characters who can prevent her from throwing a fireball, A.K.I's poison and various anti-fireball tools can prove to be even more fearsome than her drive rush pressure. Out of every character in the game, A.K.I has more ways to negate or straight up ignore fireballs than anyone else, and the damage available from those tools is not something any opponent should take lightly. Venomous Fang is the biggest tool of note as a fast startup, full-screen projectile invincible move that's flipped her entire matchup chart on its head from when she was first introduced to Street Fighter 6. Use this to threaten your opponents to let you in close, or just throw a fireball to get the real offense started. The thing that makes her fireball incredibly powerful is that it can be cancelled into Snake Step during its recovery frames. OD Snake Step is invincible to strikes and projectiles, so it's a great way to close distance, escape the corner, or simply make a fireball safe. You can even use this to create some deadly mix-ups. Her drive rush has some of the best minimum and maximum distance values in the game, and her back walk speed is up there with the likes of Cammy, meaning her mobility in the neutral can be a great strength if used properly. Combine her normal movement with specials like Snake Step, and suddenly enemies won't ever be sure of where she truly is, forcing them to second guess their own neutral approach. A.K.I's got plenty of fantastic normals to talk about, but let's focus on the most important ones. To start, Standing Heavy Kick is one of the best heavy normals in the game. It's got incredible range at only 9 frames startup and works as an all-around great anti-air. With aerial attack invincibility at frame 10, it's reliable and leads to some of the best anti-air damage in the game. On the ground, Heavy Kick works as a whiff punish and shimmy tool, granting a special punish counter state that's great for hit confirming. Normally, it also leads into Sinister Slide, yielding fantastic damage and Oki without the need for meter. It also helps that stand heavy kick leads into sinister slide kicks as a frame trap for opponents who mash, helping to condition them into falling for her command grab, entrapment. One of the best ways to get into stand heavy kick on hit or on block is with her crouching medium kick. At 7 frames, this button reaches decently far and combos into heavy kick from drive rush or on punish counter. Unfortunately, it is not special cancelable like many of the other crouch medium kicks in the game, but the trade-off is that Aki's is +1. Because of this, it frame traps into stand jab and medium buttons when enhanced by drive rush. Aki's consistent Oki setups mean she never has to struggle to start pressure with this button, forcing her opponent to sit still and take a mix-up after whatever hit they just took. The next most important button is probably forward heavy kick. At 14 frames startup and +2 on block, most of her best Oki starts with this button. It works great from drive rush since it carries momentum and leaves her close to the opponent. While there, it's easy to set up a shimmy, a throw, or a spacing trap that leads to huge damage and looping pressure. If you can get an opponent to respect this move, your life will be a lot easier, but be careful as it has weird gaps in between its hits and it's highly susceptible to DI from almost any time you use it if both hits land. Because it's +2 on block, it frame traps with what is possibly her best button, standing medium punch. Her medium punch is 6 frames and has incredible range on it. The button moves Aki forward, is exceptionally active for a medium, and helps her extend almost any combo you'll ever see her do. On top of that, because of the moving properties, it allows her to have some of the strongest meterless burnout pressure in the game, sometimes leading to characters being dragged from corner to corner before getting stunned. At longer ranges, buttons like forward heavy punch or crouching heavy kick are more unique but useful. Forward heavy punch is unsafe on block and doesn't lead to much unless you can super confirm or hit confirm. That said, it does a great deal of drive gauge damage if you can space it right on block. Crouching heavy kick is a great tool to stop certain advances you see coming, or just to use as a whip punish tool because the scaling into super is almost non-existent. And standing heavy punch target combo is great for converting off stuff without drive rush cancels where you'd normally spend much more bar. It can be difficult to know when to use some of Aki's normals, but keep experimenting with her movement and ability to control space until it feels natural. Making her opponents second guess what she's doing is where she excels, so throwing in weird buttons can only help. Aki's special moves are the last piece used to round out her versatile kit. We won't talk about all of them in detail here, maybe in a future video, but for now, Aki's specials serve 2 main purposes. The first is to occupy space on the screen. Much like her normals, her special moves can be used to poke at opponents and force options for Aki to capitalize on. As of recording, the conversion she gets off of these pokes in the right circumstances is almost unmatched, only rivaled by the damage of big characters like Marisa. The second purpose is to apply and activate Toxic Blossom. Landing pretty much all of Aki's special except Cruel Fate will poison her opponent. Once poisoned, the next special move or specific normals can trigger Toxic Blossom, allowing Aki to follow up for more damage or situational advantages. For this reason, it's best to think of Aki as a character whose game plan works in 2 steps. The first is applying the poison, and the second is capitalizing on it. It's important to note that Aki's poison strips away 1 health of the opponent per frame and lasts for about 7 seconds. That's 420 damage or 4.2% of the average health in Street Fighter 6. 4% might not sound like a lot, but poison can be reapplied through other means and continue to grow as the opponent tries to lock Aki down and rid themselves of the poison. Her best tool for applying poison is with Orchid Spring. This special move applies poison on her opponent regardless of if they block it or not, and can discourage an enemy from jumping over her fireballs. Once an opponent is poisoned, they're incentivized to approach, which is exactly where Aki can shine since she's so adept at stopping approaches from the mid-range. Use Orchid Spring when you can in the neutral, but also be sure to learn some setups for using it during offense because that can make or break every single round due to the passive damage and offensive capabilities. Serpent Lash is probably Aki's most versatile special move. It works great as an offensive or defensive poke, serves well as an anti-air, and even functions triply as her best combo extending special. The move can clash with fireballs, and the OD version even punishes them, closing the gap and yielding big damage and corner carry. When using the anti-air version, be careful to mind the spacing, as it moves forward slightly and has an extremely small hitbox. This means it's easy to cross up, even in the corner if the timing is wrong. Be sure to use her normals as well to prevent this. What makes Serpent Lash so important is how it lends itself to continuing Aki's pressure. When using the heavy and medium versions, you're granted a safe jump from mid-screen and the corner respectively, which is huge for a character as oppressive as this. Condition your opponent to respect the safe jump, and eventually you can throw in high-low mix-up as well as punishing throws.
We shall increase the dosage to a fatal degree. Farewell.
Venomous Fang is an overall self-explanatory move that we've mentioned before, but look out for how it affects poisoned enemies. On hit, the enemy will enter a crumple state if grounded and a tumble state if airborne. These rules apply during combos as well, but the tumble state specifically is something to note. Aki has tons of advantage after landing this move, meaning she can use the time to set up some nasty mix-ups. Here's a few examples that are easy to execute and give her great situations to capitalize off of.
Got you! Got you! Orchid! Got you! Orchid! Orchid! Banged in my masterwork! Orchid! Got you! Got you! I wouldn't move if I were you.
Cruel Fate is an anti-fireball move that leaps through the air and onto the tops of unsuspecting enemies. The OD version is plus on block and grants Aki a hard knockdown to continue poisoning the opponent or pressuring them. Cruel Fate especially shines during burnout strings, as it can be used to avoid many fireball supers and is plus on block, letting Aki continue her strings. All versions also combo into level 3, which is usually a slightly better way to end her combos than other ways, because Cruel Fate keeps the poison on the opponent for a second or two longer, yielding 1 to 3 extra % of damage. Aki is one of the most freeform characters in terms of how to use her normals and specials together, making it easy to create your own unique style of play. To master this character is to understand how all of her moves interact with her poison mechanic and the states they leave the opponent in for you to combo further or set up Okizeme. The possibilities really do seem endless, so if you like the ability to express yourself, Aki is a great character for exactly that. Aki's supers are all pretty standard, and actually probably the weakest parts of her kit, which is saying a lot. Level 1, Deadly Implication, is a sweeping kick with invincibility to strikes and throws that applies poison. Use this as a combo ender or a reversal, but be warned that the damage isn't anything special, so you don't want to resort to it unless it's absolutely necessary. At 10 frames of startup, many characters can use a meaty jab to option select the super and bait it out while still pressuring Aki. Luckily, her situation isn't hopeless as she can still use OD Snake Step or Wake Up Drive Reversal to keep the opponent guessing what she'll do. Be sure to cycle between these three options so your defense doesn't become predictable. Tainted Talons, Aki's level 2, is the most versatile super she has. This move reaches across 3 separate ranges on screen and leaves an extra large Orchid Spring on the ground that lasts about 12 seconds. Use the puddle to pressure an opponent with highly volatile mix-ups while they take passive damage and force out a mistake. If you land this early in a round, odds are that it will only take one more hit to KO the opponent, so learn all the best ways to convert with it. Tainted Talons is also great at pressuring opponents from full screen in a variety of ways. It can beat projectiles if you react fast enough, and it catches airborne enemies trying to jump over fireballs. Lastly, it's pretty much a checkmate super against many characters because it's got projectile properties, meaning they can't level 1 through it. Using it this way should be a last resort, but it's an immensely powerful last resort to have at all. Lastly, for Aki's level 3, there's not too much to say. It's got pretty slow startup at 10 frames, but it moves forward to catch extended hurt boxes on fireballs. Just be careful that you don't try to punish the wrong moves or it won't work. It's great for ending combos and works decently as an anti-air. Once again, there's not too much to say about Aki's supers, but they get the job done. This has been the art of Aki. As a true snake-style fighter, she's trickier to master than most characters, and for that reason there's always more to discover in regards to combos, pressures, and conversions. These are the reasons I chose to cover her first in my Art of videos, and would love to know if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future. I had a lot of fun making it, so I really hope you enjoyed. They do take a lot of work to make though, so if you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing. I also have a Patreon if you want to help me out more directly. If you do want to see more videos like this in the future, drop a comment down below on what character you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.